Alrighty guys, here's our next contestant on Mower Repair. This is the Craftsman 650 series, and look at that, it's special. It's the gold edition. I'm not sure if that's below the diamond and platinum edition or exactly where it comes into row, but it is an edition nonetheless. This is a self-propelled, and if you're really into the numbers and all that, well, I'll tell you what, there you go. There's you a bunch of numbers. Yep, that's what she is right there. Anyway, what I think she is a lawnmower. This was picked up free alongside the road, and when I was picking it up, a lady came out of the house and goes, "Hey, those don't run." And I said, "Well, that's just perfect. I'll see if I can make it run." And to that, she said no more. Alrighty, let's dig into it and see what we got. Tell you what, right off the snap, let's see if she has any Earl in her. Why, she does, and look at that, it's right almost at the full dot. Good enough to start it on. We'll change her out if it runs. Ooh, look at that. We have the Mega Fire spark plug. That is pretty special right there. She's the Mega Fire. And we have a pull rope issue. That's right. That used to be in there, but it is no more. Don't have a bag to this. Don't have any of that stuff. We'll flip her over and see if the crankshaft's bent. Then we'll start our normal process. Let's see what we got in a fuel tank. Oh yeah, pretty much nothing. She's moist. Alrighty, first things first. She's, are these spider sacks? There and up there, down here. I'm thinking they may be. Now this is odd because I did not wash this before we started with it. But what we're going to do is we're going to take and hold the handlebar in and the lever to turn off the blade brake clutch, and then we're going to go and see if this thing has a bent crankshaft. That is one incredibly loose drive belt. Jeepers. It is still on the other end, but she's incredibly loose nonetheless. Let's get our thing pulled in and then we'll get going on this. Just so you know, the spark plug wire is disconnected. All right, let's see what we got. One thing, we got a dead blade, that's for sure as heck. We got some compression. That's the crankcase vent making funny noises. No, I don't think it's bent. I think the blade needs to be replaced, which is weird because most of these, they don't make it long enough to need a blade. So this one, it did way better than the average one I work on. Okay, we know that's not bent. We got something to work with here. The self-propel didn't seem to work whenever I was just pushing it around, but we'll address that in a moment. She's pretty loosey-goosey. Don't know if there's much we can do about that, but we're going to move on. All right, we know we don't have a pull starter rope, but let's look at some of the stuff we don't know. Do we have an air filter, and what kind of condition is it in? Well, we have one, and it's not in too bad a shape. Look at that. That's highly unusual. Do you think maybe the only thing wrong with this is that the pull start rope come out? All right, we got mismatching screws here. I'm not 100% surprised by that. If you are, you just haven't been around junk mowers very long. That's going to be a metric one, not a standard one. I'm going to guess a 7 maybe. Yeah, maybe. Could be. Pretty sure that's not factory. This one was loose. I'm not surprised by that either. Now when you flip these tanks over, these screws like to go bye-bye, so it's a good idea to collect them now. They're a shouldered screw. Now, if you have a few junk mowers you're taking apart, you probably have a bunch of spares. That takes us back to the 8s. Now we'll take this and just pop it up just enough, or too far, whichever. Fluid oil isn't running everywhere. It is not. We'll slide this back in place to keep junk out of it. And then pop this off. There we go. Now, I might have another one of these somewhere, but I want the numbers to stay with the engine. This has the engine numbers on it. So we could just pull this out of here and replace just that part. But let's see what we got. Well now, would you looky here? Looks quite a bit like ours. All right, I have made the executive decision that we're going to use this one. The whole thing. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, this has a good pull rope in it. It already has a stake on it. And since this is riveted on here, I'd have to mess with a lot more. So we're just going to go with this. The little pawls come out like they should, so we're good to go. The engine numbers won't be quite right, but let's not kid ourselves. This is an old POS lawnmower that we're trying to make a little less POS-y, but still, it is what it is. Yeah, I think that'll do. Spark plug wire still reaches. Voila! That's reinstalled. Should we see if we have any action at all? I'll tell you one thing, there is something in that gas tank. And it's not looking a whole heck of a lot like it's straight gas. All I know is there's something running out of it. And I know that because there's something running out of it. Let's see what it is. I can tell you right now, it's mostly water. And a bug. And most of that is not going to run. Chip. I think it may be worth our time to blow a little air in there and see if anything else comes out. That's got to be most of it. We're going to start our rope through there. Set this sweetness back on here. We'll go ahead and start our top bolts, and then we can deal with the bottom one. Well, that went pretty smooth. I was doing pretty good till I got in a hurry. Opened up the vent, and then look what happened. Let's dissipate some of our fuel here. There. I would say we have a tiny bit less chance of making a fire. Then we need to just give her some priming. There is no fuel valve, of course. She didn't seem to want to go very good. Let's see what's in here. Ah, there it goes. Woo. Looks kind of fouled. We do have spark though. I saw it. You just have to trust me. Now, try it again. Oh, is there a spark plug wire on? Yeah, it is. Never know for sure. Keeps kicking back. Like that. Ooh. Ooh. It's a lot of pulling. It almost started a couple of times. Let's give it another drink. Give her a few more pulls. Well, our shoulder didn't tore clear out yet. keeps whacking back on itself. Like the timing isn't right. There's not a lot of timing to this, but let's check our flywheel key. We may have overlooked something there. Of course, we never looked at it to start with, so I don't know if it's really called overlooking it. Let's pull our gas tank back off, our shroud back off, and we'll be down to the flywheel. And let's take the flywheel nut off and see if we think that key is somewhere near the right place. Probably have to pop the flywheel off to get a good idea. Ooh, that'll work. See if we have enough air pressure to smack that thing loose. Why, we do. All right, pull this up. Give us a thump. Probably ought to start our nut back on there so we don't completely screw it up. We did not hit it with a brass hammer, but that don't seem to matter much. We either broke the flywheel or it come loose, one of the two. Sure enough, there's half our key right there. And here's the rest of our key in the groove. Had a little straight screwdriver out. Here it is. There's the rest of it. Isn't that something? Well, I think we need to give that just a little bit of a blowing right there. I did get a flywheel key. All right, we got her all blowed off. Then we got us a flywheel key. This is the Stens version, not the Briggs & Stratton version, but I think it'll do. I couldn't find mine. I had to go to the lawnmower shop and get one. Thinking, maybe we need to turn that so we're not next to the magnet. It's hanging down too far. You silly thing. Stay up there. Put it in the groove. There we go. That's our new flywheel key in place where he goes. In his happy little home. Guess that just works by stiction. Friction, I guess I should say. Put that on and we'll re-torque this using the air-powered torque wrench. Turned way down low. I bet this sweetheart will run now. Yeah, pretty excited about it. Got any grease rags under there or anything? Nope. That's good. Give her a drink and see what we get. That tells me two things. One, it will run, and number two, we gotta go through the carburetor on this thing. Yeah. That's no good. All right, let's go ahead and whip this sweetheart off here. One of the carb bolts out. And it's just come to my attention that I probably should have took the fuel line off first. Seeing as how they're always kind of stuck. Oh, she's stuck all right. There, she unstuck. All right, carburetor's free. Try not to lose our O-ring there. Let's make a place to work on this sweetheart and we'll get you set up. Alrighty, let's pull this bowl off and see what we got inside this sweetheart. Bound to be good. Oh man, if you could just smell it. She's peachy. There we go. Looks like it's about half water. Pretty sure. This one of these carburetors there's really no adjustment to, no nothing. So we just dump her in the old machine here and let her rip. It has to pick up gas through this. This is the main jet. It comes in from the side and out the top. And I'm sure that's plugged up. But what we'll do is we'll get the old Vibratron going and we'll Vibratron the heck out of it and make it all more better. Right now we're waiting for the Vibratron to warm up. It's the ultrasonic cleaner for those who are not initiated. So we'll get it warmed up. All right, let's turn it on and see what it does. Ready? Here we go. There's a lot of stuff coming off that carb body. Look at that bowl. That's kind of cool. I'd say it's doing something. If you're wondering, this is what this is. Right now we're in like 12 degrees Celsius on water. Typically I run about 50, which is 105 or so. And this is just a ultrasonic cleaner off of Evil Bay. All right, after a 10-minute ride in the Vibratron in cold water, I didn't give it time to heat up. We're doing okay. Now, we didn't get all that stuff out of there, and we'll blow some carb cleaner through those passages to see how well all that did. And this is better, but it's nowhere near 100%. So what we'll do is we'll take a little wire brush or something and clean that up. Let me find what I need. All right, I cleaned this up a bit. Got it much better. Put some carb cleaner down through here and got all that cleaned up. And both of those passages flow fluid. So we need to make sure this one does. We'll just lay it down here. See if I can do this without being too much in your way. Now you make sure that fluid is actually flowing through that hole, and I'm not sure it is yet. Let's see if we can find something small enough to fit through there. Oh yeah, it's flowing. All right, let's spend a few minutes putting this sweetheart back together. I want to blow this out first. Now there's a rubber down there, you don't want to blow it out. That float needle sets down in there. You want to be kind of nice to it. Now then, all we really got in here to put in is our float and needle. We're going to set that in there and catch our needle right down there. Oh, yes. No adjustments. You know, the EPA or CPSC, whoever takes care of all this stuff, has made it to the point where you can't make these things run right. You can make them run, but never run as good as they could. And somehow, that's supposed to make them more efficient when they don't run right. Need our little washer there. He goes on there. Then this all goes on here. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Let's put it back on, see what happens. Let's just spout off now. Well, we're running, but we are incredibly lean. Yeah, super lean. This main jet is still partially plugged up, which is probably the case. I'm going to pull that out and let it soak overnight in some carb cleaner and then clean it up again. I may have to take and hog it out just a little bit. But one way or another, we are super lean. Our gasket's about to die too, but it's not dead yet. Now that's way leaner than just having the air box on. That'll richen it up a little bit, but it isn't going to take care of all that. I don't believe so. We could put it on to try it, but just thinking it's not going to do that much. I'm going to pop that main jet back out of there and see if she's partially plugged up or what. We got our air filter housing back on, our carburetor back on. I pulled the main jet out and cleaned it out even better with a small micro drill bit. And now then, let's see if we can actually get this thing to start. Here we go. I'm going to scoot you back just a touch. Make sure you have a good view of the carnage here. And here we go. That's pretty good. That's running way better. Not running super lean, not running too rich. Just everything's pretty stinking good. We'll put our air filter back in here. And actually I'm going to put it in this housing. Yummy. Yeah, that's the oil she had in her. Good thing we changed it. I like stirring it up before I change it. Now this blade has pretty much had the meat. You can see where it's worn out there. And also on this side, it's all worn away. So we are darn sure going to replace that. Now, as I stated in the past, we're going to go over what we spent on this mower to get it running again. We have essentially oil. That doesn't cost much at all. Uses about half a quart. So, you know, $3 or $4 worth of oil. Now, this one we did have to get a blade for. And that blade is 20 bucks. And that's straight off Amazon. I looked at Lowe's and I looked at Home Depot, and their blades were $32 to $35 for the same blade. I didn't want a cheap blade for this. I want a good blade for this. And it ran about $20. So we do have more in this than we do in most of them. Now, are we completely done with this thing? No, not really. I'm going to put the top cover on, but you already seen it come off, so we know where it's going to go. And then also, I'm going to lube the cables on this thing. The cables that really work kind of tough on it, and I want to make sure that this cable right here, which is the engine blade, well, it's the engine brake, and I want to make sure that that one is in good shape, as well as the other one. And really, I'm probably going to pull the wheels off and straighten them up so they're all pointing the same way again, because right now we got a little bit of pigeon toe going on, and we really don't want that. We want this thing to track as straight as it can. So we will do that as well. But that doesn't cost anything, it's just time. And not to say that time is free by any means. Anyway, so we're going to be in this mower for maybe $25. And this is a mower I picked up alongside the road. Oh, the flywheel key. Flywheel key was a couple of bucks. I didn't have any in here, so I had to go to the lawnmower store and get one. And they're way more expensive when you buy them at the lawnmower store as compared to buying them from online. I don't like to buy everything online, but when there's a drastic difference in price, I do buy online. But if the local stores are somewhere near the same price, you know, within 25%, I'll usually go local. But that doesn't always work out. Anyway, this mower is pretty much ready to roll. I want to thank you for watching. Did the flywheel key, clean the carb on it. Cleaning the carb didn't cost us anything. We did have to go back in there and clean that jet out better. I should have cleaned it better the first time, but we got it where it needs to be now. And I think we got this thing in pretty good shape. We've still got a few finishing touches on it, but we're going to stop it here. And I just want to say thank you for watching. Subscribe if you would. Doesn't cost you a thing and helps me out. And God bless.